fans, AdamHarry back again with a really quick BoLS overview. Today we're taking a look at another book in the End of the World series from Fantasy Flight Games. This book is Alien Invasion. It is a role-playing game. If you're not familiar with this setting, basically what it is, the crazy minds over at Fantasy Flight Games have come up with this series of End of the World scenarios. I've covered the other two they have out in the series so far, which was zombie apocalypse, the different types of zombies and stuff like that, and then also the apocalyptic end time scenarios, Ragnarok, the apocalypse in the Bible, Mayan calendar, that type of stuff. This is another one of those end of the world scenarios. This one, of course, obviously dealing with alien invasion. So if you're not familiar at all with the system, it does use the Edge system here. It is from Fantasy Flight Games. Really well done system overall. But the first half of this book is basically how to play yourself. One of the unique things about the End of the World series is you don't really make characters or character classes. You roll up stats for an NPC or PC that's very similar to you. How you would react. This is one of those great, like, hey, have you ever had the discussion with your friend about what you would do if the aliens were real and they ever did, arrive on Earth and like try to take over? This is how you can now play out those with kind of a codified set of rules. What's really cool, it's not just a one-shot thing either. There's different types of scenarios, which I'm going to go through here shortly. But basically, the first half of the book is just about playing the game, how the rules work, all that fun stuff, which we've covered before, dealing with stuff like stress, fatigue, different traumas, dealing with death, timing and stuff like that, how to do tasks and that type of stuff. It's pretty simple. How to run the game if you're the game master, the GM, how to add a positive, negative dice, all that stuff, the traits and stuff like that for the game. And then we get into the scenarios, which are a lot of fun. I want to jump to these pretty quick, so I'm going to skim through the rules section. Again, it's based on the fate system. If you're not familiar with that, there's positive, negative effects that you can add to the dice. It's really simple as far as stats wise. You just determine your characteristics. You've got physical, mental, and social, and those apply minuses or bonuses. Equipment's pretty simple. I mean, this is all based on kind of real world stuff. So you don't have to be very, thinking about dragons and fantasy type stuff. It's all like, how do cell phones work? What do you think my cell phone skill is? Do I know how to use the phone? That type of stuff. It's pretty simple. We get into different types of conflicts, how relevant tests would apply, and add dice if you're training that ability or not, stuff like that. Running the game is pretty simple. Again, it is a campaign game. The way it works typically is you can play anywhere from a couple of, it recommends like usually 1 or 2 sessions. You can go up to 4. Some of the cool thing about this book is, what I really liked is, because unlike say like the End of the World apocalyptic scenario book, that one was if you lived the 28 days till the very end of the world, then you just were wiped out anyway. But what's cool about this is they have some post-apocalyptic scenario rules, which is really cool to kind of play out. So one of the first scenarios is you have the invasion of the Greys. Think of this like the War of the Worlds H.G. Wells style, except the little gray aliens. I think this is really fitting too if you're an XCOM fan. XCOM 2 just came out pretty recently. Those are those guys. This is what that scenario is. It's pretty fun. Then we also have the post-apocalyptic version. The Greys have already invaded. There's been some kind of a truce. I don't want to ruin everything, but they're still on our planet hanging out, thankfully, because the Reds attacked, and the Reds are more aggressive version of the Greys with more technology, and they're just as bad. Next step up is, if you're a fan of the TV show V, we have the Brotherhood of Babylon, which is the reptilian alien overlords that have infiltrated society and taken over, and that fun scenario that you can play out. And so they kind of run everything on the back end, or on the really high end, I guess. And it's the Brotherhood of Babylon. So you've got those guys. They've got, for each of the scenarios too, they have timelines. Again, you can play this in 1 or 2 sessions, but you can stretch it out if you want to, just keep playing. And they have those really cool timelines, and they have different areas or how that would have played out, things like that. They also have stats for each of the different types of alien invaders, which is pretty cool. So there you have, for example, this was the battleship that would show up. Here's one of the typical reptilians, an attack drone, and they have those for each of the different scenarios and then to different types of aliens, which is pretty nice. The Brotherhood of Babylon is a post-apocalyptic version. That's where the reptiles have pretty much taken over, and it's your job to kind of survive in that type of scenario. Next up, we have Rising Tides. This is similar to the Greys. Matter of fact, you could probably mix and match if you really wanted to throw your players for a loop. Because one of the cool things about this game is the game master doesn't necessarily have to tell the players what type of aliens they're facing. They just know that there's an alien threat. It could be from outer space. It could be, in this case, from the oceans. So, again, very similar to the Greys, except all of these guys, or the Atlanteans, are coming from our oceans. And again, they have the first part of the scenario is the apocalyptic version. And then, of course, we have the post-apocalyptic version as well. So, again, different stats for all the different soldiers, even human NPCs that are fighting back, because they would be fighting back. And so we've got Rising Tides. This is basically Atlantis has taken over the world, and now you're in it. So how do you survive that? So again, I like the long play value of some of these scenarios. We'll get to that one in a second. The next one up is a classic one from pulp sci-fi 1950s and 40s. It's the Invasion of the Giant Ants. This one's called Skitter. Familiar with that movie at all? Not called Skitter. I forget the name of it now, but it's the Giant Ant movie. It was pretty scary back in the day. It's kind of cheesy now, but I mean, that's what happens 60 years later, right? Anyway, the ants take over or attack, and humanity fights back. Of course, you've got that scenario, how that plays out. The Myrmidons, they have all the different warriors and stuff like that. And then, of course, we have the post-apocalypse version of that. Human beings have discovered pheromones that they can use to keep kind of repel the ants and keep themselves safe. So, what do you do? Stay in your safe zone, although there are still accidents. So you've got kind of an uneasy piece with the ants, but they've got that going on. Then we have the Invasion of the Body Snatchers version. Visage here, the aliens, spores or whatever, have been slowly replacing people, and they've gotten to the point where they've replaced enough people to actually take over. And they can, this is one of those really mind warp type of scenarios, like, are the people spore pods or whatever? So, but yeah, definitely Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And then, of course, the post-apocalyptic version of that is they've taken over. The duplicates have now taken over completely, and they've wrecked society, and nobody, nobody is still there anymore, as far as like the aliens have all taken over. And so you're fighting those off. But yeah, those are those pretty cool different scenarios. Again, I really like this gameplay system just because it's based on the Fate system, but on top of that, very simple to jump into, very simple to make characters, because you're basically just kind of categorizing yourself. Really easy to use dice system, but the stories and the narrative part of this, the story campaigning, the RPG aspect of it, is really cool. I really like the fact that these guys are the Reds, by the way, the little crazy biomechanical monstrosity guys. Anyway, what I really like about this system, the whole end of the world system, again, is just the open-endedness of it, the way it's kind of based in reality, but clearly not at some point. So, but yeah, these are all fun kind of what if scenarios. It's almost like they could have called this, instead of end of the world, what if the world was ending and it was an alien invasion this time. Again, you don't know the type of aliens. The players are not supposed to know. The game master does. So part of the fun is trying to figure out how to fight back and survive in the post-apocalyptic scenario or during the apocalyptic scenario. So there you have it. There it is. Would you survive? Could you survive an alien invasion? This has been a really quick overview for the End of the World Alien Invasion book from Fantasy Flight Games. I'm AdamHarry from BoLS, signing off. Have a good one.